Hi, this is a Yesterday's Moose production, and we're still in this area of Aphasia in Kingsley's Adventure for PS1. Right now I'm fighting enemies that I can't see. They are in the dark, off screen. And what you want to do here is constantly move in and out of cover while aiming for where the arrows are coming from. When you hear them go "Ugh" and die, that's when you know it's safe. Unfortunately, I wasn't doing that very well, so I got hurt a couple times. By the way, the reason why it was clicking is because that enemy, the enemy that I killed off screen, dropped a key. That's it, a key to open the chest. Now, what's in the chest? I can't remember. Maybe coins. Not something super important, so it's better to take out the enemy when you can't see them off screen rather than wait till they are closer. Over there is a checkpoint. I had mentioned in the previous video that the checkpoint placement is very weird in this game. For example, why is that checkpoint there? If you happen to die, you will appear at the entrance of this area. But once you get the checkpoint, then you will appear where the checkpoint is, naturally. But it seems kind of pointless to have a checkpoint there. Oh, jumped way too late. I'm very fortunate that that didn't kill me, because usually if you jump into the green sludge from this height, you will immediately die. But for some reason I lived, because in this game, sometimes you live, but sometimes you don't. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to it. So we got these guys, and you want to take care of them before you move forward. They will both drop hearts if you're lucky. For whatever reason, they didn't do it this time. Once again, there's an enemy off screen over to the right. And that enemy got me, because of course. So you really want to take care of that enemy before you move forward. Good idea to have full arrows before you try to take out the enemy. Now this again is very difficult, because you have to use the wall for cover and go into first person and kind of strafe back and forth. Try to aim as best as possible. And once again, I'm just not doing very well at avoiding the enemy attacks. But I did hear him get defeated, so I can go forward. But just making sure. Since the arrows are close by, there's no problem with shooting all of them over in that direction. I can hear another enemy shooting at me, but they're far away, so they can't hit me. There was really no point for me to hit that target right now. What you want to do is jump on the platform and then hit the target. So this chest over here, I'm gonna open it, but there's really no point to doing so because it just has scorpions. So there's a checkpoint up to the left. So platforming here is very tricky because you just barely have enough room to jump. So there's no point to getting the checkpoint back there, and I'll point out why. Definitely take care of that enemy first before going forward. So yay, there's another checkpoint. So why are there two checkpoints in this one room? Maybe because you can just jump off into the green sludge? Yeah, but okay, so why weren't there more checkpoints leading up to this part of the game? How come this room has two checkpoints? And the previous room had one checkpoint, and then the rooms before that, no checkpoints. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to why anything is placed in the location that it is. There's another enemy off to the right, off screen. So you really want to take care of this enemy before going forward. I know I'm not serving as a good example of taking out these enemies, but that's because, as I mentioned in the previous video, it took me several tries to get through this area, and not all of the runs were done very well. And some of them I didn't even record because I had to go back to the beginning of the stage and run through it again. So there was really no point in recording any of that. It might have made for a better video and showed more of how to get rid of the enemies with better efficiency. So you can, if you want, to drop that enemy completely off into the green sludge if you don't want to have to deal with the enemy. Since he doesn't drop anything, there's almost no point in defeating him. There's an enemy off to the left. Want to defeat that guy before moving forward. Okay, here's another room where we have to defeat enemies that are in the dark. First, get rid of this guy on the left. Now on the right, there's this guy which we can defeat without actually having to engage him. Way off in the distance, there's another guy. Fortunately, since we're both on platforms, it's relatively easy to get rid of that guy. Believe it or not, while editing this, I made a mistake and had to go back and re-edit it. So this commentary, right as of this moment, is actually me taking over from where I left off. Because I just left out a whole section of the game. Because why not? Mistakes happen sometimes when you're editing. Okay, so once again we got a guy way off there in the distance. But if we run out of arrows, then we have to replenish them on the next platform. As you can see, he can still hit us, but since we're both in motion practically all the time, makes it a little bit easier to get rid of him. So we have to hit those targets on the other side. What that will do for us is, fell into the green sludge and miraculously didn't die because, like I said, sometimes you die, sometimes you don't. Technically, we should have died there. But the game decided, no, I'm going to be merciful this time around and make it so that you live. So the objective is to eventually open the door on the other side by hitting both of the targets. I'm already thinking of what will be the next game that I Let's Play. I was thinking about doing Tomb Raider, as in the original Tomb Raider, but with the newer version with the updated graphics, and then do the, what was it, Tomb Raider Anniversary, I believe it is, where that's a remake of the first game. Considering how little views this game has actually gotten, I'm not sure how well a Tomb Raider Let's Play will do. Honestly, I thought this would get more views considering how rare the game is, but I guess rarity isn't always a generator of interest. So at this point we have to get 4 different keys to open 4 different locks. And that will allow us to move on. I really got to get out of this corner. Squished. So what we got is 4 different corners, constantly moving hazards. And I died, because of course. So now I already got 1 key, so that's going to make it slightly easier to get through this section. What you want to do is you want to stay off of the tracks, if you want to call it that, where the... I'm going to call them barrels, where the barrels are moving. You just wait for them to move out of the way, and then you run. But still, you might get hit, like I did. So get the purple key, and now I wait. Once that's passed, I can move on. And you want to just repeat that process for each of the 4 corners. Got one more corner to go. And drop into the green sludge. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we gotta go back down to where the keyholes are. Now that that's done, it'll open up the path for us, which I believe I can go up here. I think it's directly across from the entrance of the room where we came in. So you can just send that guy directly into the green sludge, but he does give a key. So there's a guy to the right. Want to get rid of him. There's a switch. What the switch does is it moves the platform that we were just on into the correct position. So you kind of want to be as close to the platform as possible before hitting the switch. And then quickly run and jump. Once we cross this gap on the left, there's a enemy. Want to take that enemy out. Once again, there's a target on the wall that will move the platform. You want to hit it and quickly, very quickly run. I almost fell off the edge there. Again, across the gap, there's an enemy on the left. I want to be prepared for that. And we get another key. I'm not sure why, but now we can open this chest. And we got one more target, I believe. No, sorry, a switch. And we gotta run. Sorry, I forget. It just opens up the wall. My bad. So now we are in a jail where there's a bunch of prisoners. Pretty sure you can talk to some of them, if not all of them. But I'm not going to talk to this guy because I forgot to talk to him. Please defeat Reggie. I've been locked up here for years. And we got a refrigerator. Apparently that has something to do with cut content for the game. I'm not sure what, but you can probably look it up and find out what it was. I'm Kingsley, apprentice true knight. That magic robe you are wearing belongs to Cornflower. But it looks much better on me. The old man doesn't deserve such a garment. Take this! So finally we have the boss. He will do ground attacks that you have to jump over. Fortunately, there are health around the edges of the area that will constantly replenish. Which leads me to wonder, how come some bosses have constantly replenishing health and some bosses don't? You can use these platforms here to stay off the floor for his ground attacks, but keep in mind he does still have those ranged attacks. And mind you, those ground attacks have a lot of range. I'm doing my best to try to avoid them, but it's hard to know exactly when they're coming. Basically, it's best to keep moving, and I find that as long as you do that, you're fairly well off. You've beaten me! Now it's too late to turn over a new leaf. I was going to give up this crazy life, buy a small farm, find myself an honest woman, heck, maybe even raise some rats. Ha! That's him dealt with. Now, I wonder where Cornflower's house is. Technically, I've already been there. It was the big book. And there's the final boss. He's waiting for us over there, but we don't face him yet. So, the Fruit Kingdom has a little hero. Does it? You've done well so far, little Kingsley, but my dark nights will crush you. So yeah, we still got some bosses to defeat, but I've saved them for a separate video. Technically, we could have revisited the previous levels already and gotten rid of them, but I mentioned, I think in the first video, second video, something like that, that I would just leave them for a separate video and try to do them all in one. All in one go, that is. Okay, now that we're done with that, we can finally find, what was his name? Cornflower? Give him back his robe. Here, Cornflower, I believe this is your magic robe. Thank you, Kingsley. Here's your final True Knight item, a magic gemstone for your shield. Yes, I'd better hurry back to Carrot Castle to see the king. By the way, if you use your shield now on the outskirts of Rosary Village, you will be able to reach the Dark Knight's castle, which is where we will probably be going in the next video. Thanks, I'll remember that. And with that out of the way, we're finally done this area. Thank you very much for watching. This has been a Yesterday's Moose production, and I'll see you next time.